Well, hello, my good people. Hello, good people. Um, Welcome to Monday, March 6th. I've had an interesting weekend with myself. Not a lot. Not a lot went on this weekend. I had a show on Friday in Chicopee. Great time. It was a great show. Had a wonderful time. Anybody was there, thank you for being there. Even though it was a snowstorm, people came out in spite of the snow. They came. We had a good time. It was a lot of fun. Got to work with Jess Miller, who I love and adore. Known her for many years, and then of course Jr. Who is a very funny comedian. I've worked with him several times, and he just gets funnier every time. This dude, and he's a musician. He was great. He was very funny, and then of course Linda Belt, who I also love and adore. I've known her for many years. Old comedian friend, and she was a delight. It was just a great show. It was a great show. It was fun. Met lots of wonderful people, and then we all drove home in the snow. So that was exciting. And then Saturday, because of the snow, I didn't really go anywhere. I didn't have a show Saturday night, so I got to stay home and just sort of do some reflecting. I cleaned and organized my office. What do you think? This is my office. Well, it's my basement, but I call it my office. Turned it into my office. It's mostly just a place where I hang out. Um, but anyway, I had a lot of stuff I want to do, and what I ended up doing is pretty much nothing. I accomplished hardly anything this weekend, to be very honest with you. Oh, let me pull it. Does this work better? Um, so anyway, so I'm live everywhere right now. We're on Instagram, we're on the TikTok, we're on the Facebook, we're on the YouTube, we're everywhere right now. I'm experimenting with my system here, and looking to go live a little more consistently. Uh, because I tell people you need to pursue your dreams. You need to get out there, make it happen. If it's going to happen, it's going to be cool, but you got to do something about it. It's like I talk about. See a lot of people talking about manifesting, and just speak the words out into the universe, and it's going to happen. But what really happens is that when you say things that you want to accomplish, when you talk about your goals, your subconscious brain starts to take you seriously. Because most of the time you come up with these crazy ideas and you never do anything about it, and your brain's like, well, we're not going to waste our energy pursuing stuff that was just a crazy idea to begin with. But when you start talking about your dreams and your goals and actually start manifesting by speaking them and saying, this is what I want to accomplish, then your brain, your subconscious brain gets involved and goes, all right, I guess we're on it. We're up and running. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this thing. And so I did a video this morning. If you haven't seen it yet, this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to manifest something and you want to accomplish something, it's not just the words you speak. You got to get involved. You got to start doing something. So here's the question. Where do you go from there? Well, you got to have a plan. You have to work a plan. You really do. If you have things you want to accomplish, but you're not doing anything about accomplishing it, then if you fail, it's your own fault. You never did anything. So you got to do something. So you're sitting there going, well, where do I start? Well, you got to have a plan. So your first plan is to make a plan. So you plan to have a plan. And not just plan to have a plan, but you got to actually make you set a date, you set a time, say, okay, I'm going to take this time, this day, and I'm going to make my plan for accomplishing my dreams, whatever the dream may be. And then you make your plan, and then you start following through on your plan. daily things you got to do, weekly things you got to do, people got to call, paperwork you got to do, whatever it is that you're going to do, you got to start working it. So today I finally decided I should probably follow my own advice. And so here I am, trying to follow my own advice. I want to do a podcast. I want to talk about philosophy. I want to talk about life. I want to talk about everything. And I need to start doing it. I need to be more consistent. So I'm here to tell you I'm going to be here every day, Monday through Friday, at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please adjust for your local schedule. And we're going to be talking about life. I'm here to help you, because helping me is helping you, because I want to make your life better. I want to help you pursue your dreams. I want to help you see life in a healthy, productive way. Because we're all encumbered with the nastiness of life. You know, I had a few months ago, it was December 13th. I remember this because of my daughter's birthday. I was actually driving to her house in Ohio, and I got in a car accident. I rear-ended somebody on the freeway. It was a weird thing. It was night, and I had moved over to the exit lane because my exit was coming up, going to her house, and I got over there, and I don't know what the deal was. This guy, I looked down at the GPS to make sure I was at the right exit, and then I glance up, and this guy has pulled right in front of me, and slowed down. He was going anyway, so I tagged the back end of him, and it was an accident. And then I get out of the car. You know, I'm freaking out. Airbag goes off. I got 2 dogs and a cat with me, so they're freaking out with me. And anyway, I pull over. Everybody's safe. None of us got hurt. And I'm worried about the other car, of course. And so I stop. I get out of the car, and the cat jumps out and takes off. That was. I still don't know where the cat is. He had a leash on. Had a little, not a collar, but one of those. Anyway, he had a leash on, and the cat just jumped out, started heading towards the traffic, and it got spooked by a car that came by. Then he turned around, ran back towards me. I thought he was going to come back to the car. And then another car came, spooked him again, and then he just took off the side of the freeway into the high weeds on the side, and he's gone. I tried to look for him. He was gone. I don't know. Somebody in Dayton, Ohio, I hope you found the cat. If you found a cat with a collar and a leash and you're trying to figure out where it's probably might be my cat. It's black. Anyway, so I talked to the other guy, and he was kind. Nobody was hurt. Smashed up the back of his car. I think he got a new car out of the deal. I don't know what ended up happening with the insurance, but so anyway, so I felt stupid. I felt real stupid. It was like, I don't know how you explain. Well, the guy was just there. He wasn't there, and then he's there. It's obviously my fault. So you take the hit, and feeling kind of dumb. And I've had a clean driving record for a really long time. I haven't had tickets or anything in years. And then a few weeks ago, we're headed to Florida to do a show down in Florida, and we're going through Virginia, and I got a speeding ticket. So I got 2 tickets on my driver. And you feel dumb. Then you start piling on. As things like this happen, then things just start piling on. Every little thing, every bill that comes through, every little thing, you just start feeling overwhelmed and stupid, and you feel like, the world's trying to get me, and here I am can't afford anything. I don't have enough money. Blah, blah, blah. And you start feeling all horrible and terrible about yourself. And, uh, and I think we all do this. And I get messages from people all the time who are going through this sort of thing where it's just feel like they're overwhelmed by life. And like as soon as you start to do well, something, the hammer drops and something else horrible happens. And, uh, and I've felt that. I have felt that to my core. I get that. I have experienced that many times in my life. In fact, we all do every day. So the question is, how do you get over that particular thing of that everything was horrible. Everything every time I get ahead, I have fall back. It's like one step forward, two steps back. You never feel like you have enough money to do anything, and then you see all these other people out living their dreams and living in vans and driving all over the country, and you're trying to figure out how do they do that? How do they have money to do these sort of things? And you get all down on yourself. And I certainly have been through that myself, gone through down because I'm like, 53 years old, I haven't accomplished anything. What am I doing with myself? So anyway, I've been getting messages from people kind of experiencing this, who are going through that. They'll see my videos and they see all the positive comments, and then they make a negative comment like, "Oh, this doesn't apply to my life," blah blah blah. Nothing goes good for me, blah. And it's true. If you don't think anything goes good for you, then nothing will go good for you. So what's going to happen? But how do you tell people that? Because that's the last thing they want to hear is, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And I hate to be the bearer of good news, but yes, that's the key. Is you got to be your own hero. No one's going to come and save you. You got to be your own hero. You got to come up with a plan. You got to start working your plan, and that's the trick. That's the trick. That's the secret to all of it. You just got to start moving. You got to start making some things happen. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm here making this happen, and having a lot of fun. Just seeing what's going on in the world because there's a lot of craziness going on, and I'm enjoying it. I think it's. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think everybody needs to calm down because we've been talking about the end of the world since I was a kid. I was born the year we went to the moon, and everybody thought that was like the opening. You weren't okay. My whole childhood, we thought that pretty much the end of the world was like going to happen any minute. I mean, I didn't even know if I was ever going to become an adult because I thought the world was going to end because the Russians were going to kill us all. They were going to come and attack us with the nuclear bombs, and we were all going to die. And we had all kinds of songs and music and movies talking about the end of the world is just it's all done, and then of course you go to church and the apocalypse is going to come. We're all going to die. It's all over. We're dead. Ugh. I've been putting up with that my entire life, kind of hoping for it to some degree because look, this whole life with credit scores and bills and I don't know who came up with this plan, but I hate this one. I would really like to change this reality. So the whole end of the world thing sort of sounded like a fun thing. Like we watch Road Warrior, where everything had fallen apart and everybody's running around with football pads or spikes in them for some reason. I don't know what that was about, but it spiked in cars and turned them into rolling tanks and we were fighting each other for gasoline. And look, some of us watched Road Warrior. We're like, that looks like fun. It really does. It looked like a quite an adventure because most of us go through life we're just bored, as I've mentioned before. Most of your issues in life is just because you're bored, because you're not doing anything interesting with your life. Because we were born to do interesting things. We were born to go and use our brain and hunt and fish and build fires and build things and now what do? We sit around and stare at our phones. That's what we do now. And I think that's why people are addicted to video games, because you feel like you're getting some adventure, and you don't even have to leave your house, which is kind of fun, which is pretty exciting. But so what I'm trying to say is it's not the end of the world. I know we got derailments of trains going all over. We got chemicals all over. There's always been. I know there's all these ideas that we're all going to die at any minute now, and the world's going to blow up, or we're all going to fall into war. With the pandemic, we thought that was the end of everything. We're all, I think we're sitting around hoping for the zombie apocalypse that never happened. The Walking Dead, made it seem sexy, and it never happened. It's kind of a letdown. So here we are. Life's going to go on in spite of what's going on in the Ukraine, in spite of what's happening in Yemen, and the Congo, the horrible things that we're doing to Africa just so we can have batteries. Horrible things are going on in this world. But you have to ask yourself, what can you do about it? What can you actually do about any of this stuff? Because most of the stuff you see on the news, what it really comes down to has nothing to do with you. I mean, it's going to influence your life to some degree, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be informed and pay attention, but do you really need to lose sleep over it? I mean, look, if the world's going to go into chaos and we're all going to be wiped out by EMP and then tidal waves from global warming flooding the earth, at some point in time that might happen. But until it happens, when it does happen, there's probably nothing you can do about it anyway. So up until that point in time, you might as well be having a good time. You might as well be doing what you want to do. So that's my thing. Don't set your life aside waiting for the end of the world. Now, here's a fun thing you can get involved in is prepping for the end of the world. That's a lot of fun. Because it's like it's like you're getting involved. If you really believe it's going to be the apocalypse and that it's all coming to an end, and that we need to rebuild society afterwards, well, then by all means, you should be dedicating yourself to that, and that can be a fun adventure as well. It's like, I mean, some people collect magic cards and Pokemon cards and toys. People collect stamps and coins. Why not collect weapons and food? I mean, at least they're practical. At least you could use them for something. So you can dedicate your life to the end of the world. Gives you a purpose. You got nothing else to do. You might as well prepare for a new world. So you can start doing that. There's a lot of things you can do to overcome the boredom that you're experiencing in life, and not take don't get so upset and nervous about this world. Don't let this world drag you down. There's no reason for it. There's no reason to be miserable. Sure, you got bills to pay, and you're getting disappointed from other people letting you down. There's no reason to let any of this drag you down. I mean, you're survived all this other stuff. You're going to survive, and up into you only die once. I mean, some of us die and come back, but we still didn't die. So it's just, you know what I mean? I mean, you get to the end point and it's over, and then you move on to whatever else is out there. So, by all means, start doing something with yourself. So here comes the question: How do you know when you can affect change, when you can do something to make the world a better place? Because it comes down to it is, what do you have influence over? What do you have control over? And what do you not have control over? What you do have control over is the only thing that's important, ultimately. I mean, there's things you have no control over, like what's going on in Ukraine. Look, I don't know. You could change your profile picture on Facebook anytime, as many times as you want. I ain't gonna change anything with Zelensky and Putin. I ain't gonna do crap for any of it. It isn't gonna change the polls from shifting. It isn't. Nothing you do on Facebook is going to make any kind of difference in the big scheme of things, right? You can't change who's the president. You can't change. I mean, you can vote to some degree and influence it to some degree, but ultimately, it's gonna whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. So there's things that you can't do anything about. There's things you have influence towards, like voting. You can express your opinion. That certainly is helpful to some degree. But ultimately, the only thing that you have control over is you and your attitude towards life and your own personal view of the world. That's the only thing. It's like the book of Viktor Frankl. He was in a concentration camp during World War II, and he couldn't do anything. His entire life was controlled by Nazi guards, and he decided that at some point in time he was probably going to die, and but as long as he still was breathing and still able to function, he was just going to try to make the best of what he could. And he developed a very strong attitude towards the whole situation he was in, even though he was living with, basically being starved to death, being worked to death. But every day he'd wake up and he's like, I'm still here. And he developed this very strong mental attitude, was that, hey, they can't take away my thoughts and my memories. They can't take that away from me. I still have that. And as long as I have that, I can still find joy in the memories. I can still find happiness in spite of what's going on, in spite of what they're doing to me physically, in spite of these things are controlling my environment. They still can't take away what's inside here. They can't take away my brain. And so that helped him develop a very healthy and strong attitude to get through the thing. And eventually he did. He got through it. It finally ended, and he survived. And he went on to write a wonderful book talking about his experience. And it's an incredible journey. If you ever get a chance to read the book, I can look him up, Viktor Frankl. He wrote quite a bit. He wrote a lot, talked about this, but you can change your life when you decide that you want to change your life. If you decide you can't, that you're just stuck and there's no way out, well, then you just accept that, and there you are. And some people are happy being miserable, to be very honest with you. I've met a lot of people who, no matter what you say, no matter how positive you try to be towards them or try to help them, they just refuse to see anything but the negative. And I think part of that is sort of this weird trick that we play on ourselves and our brain, is because we will convince ourselves that everything is horrible and terrible, and that we don't deserve to be happy. And so your subconscious says, oh, everything's terrible, everything's horrible, we don't deserve to be happy. And so you get a dopamine rush every time you're experiencing something that's horrible, because that's what you're looking for. Actually, you just told your brain, hey, go look for this. And so you go find it. And so you actually start becoming very comfortable at being miserable. Are you following me on this? And I have seen this over and over again, where people just decide that everything's terrible and they don't deserve to be happy, and that then the not being happy is what makes them happy. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's true. I know there are people out there that fall into that trap, and you can get out of it, but you have to decide. Only you're the only one who can change your life. I mean, you could haphazardly just experience something and change, but I've seen people who have gotten everything that they ever wanted, and they're even more miserable. And so I say, stuff does not make you happy. Having lots of stuff, I got lots of stuff, but I'm just as happy without my stuff. You don't need stuff. You don't need a bunch of stuff. Quit pursuing stuff. I hope that you're experiencing adventures. This is one thing I do appreciate about the younger generations, about millennials and Gen Z, is that it seems to me like most of them are interested in experiencing life and having wonderful experiences and traveling and going and seeing the world while they're young, instead of waiting till you're old. A lot of my generation and the boomer generation, they all kind of had this, this attitude. Well, when we get older, we'll travel. Well, you get older, and then you get too old. You don't go see much. It's just a terrible time to go adventuring. Is when you, as they say, when you have the money, you don't have the time. When you have the time, you don't have the money. And but I think there's so many ways now that you don't have to fall into that trap. You don't have to believe that. You don't have to accept that as a reality. And that's one thing I like about the younger generations, is that they're going out and having experiences. They're going out and adventuring. They're going out and seeing things. They're trying to get away from just being stuck. And this is why they're not, like, kind of funny. They're not falling for that trap of just get a job, put in 40 years, buy a house. But they're not falling into that. They're getting out, and I think it's a great thing. I mean, they got their problems, obviously, but get out there and experience life. It's just incredible. So much out there. So anyway, so here's my plan for me. I gotta let y'all in on my deal. Man, my favoriteest thing in the whole world is doing stand-up comedy. I love it. I love being in front of an audience and doing stand-up. But I want to do more than just stand-up. And I'd love to do movies. I'll tell you about the movie. Some developments with the movie that I was in. I'll be sharing that with you in a few minutes. Jeebus, as it is affectionately called now. I'll share the trailer for Jeebus here later today. I'll just go ahead and talk about it. Okay, so I've mentioned this before, but let me tell you more what's going on. So I was in Florida doing a show last year, and I ended up meeting some people who were making a movie while I was there. They knew who I was, found out that I was in Florida, so they came to visit with me and pitched me this idea of playing God for their movie. And Jeebus is about this guy who thinks he's Jesus. He's a Florida beach bum, and he thinks he's Jesus, and he starts having visions with God, and he's trying to share with the people the message of love, and of course it doesn't go well. And if you're familiar with the story of Jesus, you know how it ends. So Anyway, they invited me to be a part of this movie, and I like the message. I'm not happy. I think it's got a lot of language that I not necessarily approve of, and it gets a little crass, some of the humor. But I think the overall message is what we're after, and my part's clean. I'll say that. And all I did was we filmed it over like 4 hours. They set up a green screen, and I said the lines they needed, and then they just let me riff, and I just goofed off for several hours saying whatever came in my mind, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and so they're out pitching the movie to the powers that be in California, and it's coming together. I'm not sure where it's going to end up or where you're going to be able to see it or when, but it is coming along, and there is a trailer that's been done. It is my understanding the final cut has been done. I hope I get to see that soon. And I'll be honest, I had to do a lot of soul searching on this movie because I am a Christian. I do believe in God. Have throughout my entire life, and so this was kind of weird because I don't want to. My goal is not to mock God. My goal is not to mock religion per se. But what I don't mind mocking is people's ridiculous view of religion. I think most of us have turned religion into, and look, and I fall prey to this myself. So I'm not trying to say, oh, well, look, I'm better than you. I'm here to preach to you because I know better. All I'm saying is that we as human beings, we make this horrible mistake where instead of trying to follow God's word, we create our own version of what we think God should be, and then we worship that. This is why there's idea of worshiping your own God is that if you're are you conforming and following God, or are you just creating a God that fits to you, and you're creating your own God? And this is something that people do, is that we project onto God what we think is right, and we try to fit it into our own devices. And this is what's being made fun of, is the fact that people will interpret the Bible or anything else to meet their own needs, not necessarily to follow the text, if you will. And I think this is what's happened to religion. And I see these preachers on TV saying, "Send me your money, and I will bring you riches, and God will bless you with bounteous, and all you need to do is send me your money, send me your money." Man, it just pains me when I see that. I've been to a lot of churches, and it's always been fascinating to me, the ones that you go in there for a good message. I think a great sermon should uplift you, should give you hope, should give you guidance. If you go in, I've gone in and I've seen preachers who have a great message to share. It's uplifting, it's insightful, it makes you think about yourself and how to be a better person, and it's incredible. That's what that's the benefit of going to a church, is having that communion with other followers, and getting to have a moment where you just separate yourself from the world, and you get this recharge, and it's a beautiful thing. But I've been to other churches where you're there for an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and 40 minutes of it's them telling you to give them money. passing the plate around. The collection plate comes around like 5, 6, 7 times. It's like, what is going on here? And then the message is just, well, give us money and God will bless you. And I've been to a lot of churches that's it. That's all they do is just, they have some music, a couple scriptures, and then, but the rest of the time it's, give us your money and God will bless you. And that's disheartening. And so that's part of what this movie makes fun of, is that attitude that's what's a lot of religion in America has become, is it's get rich quick scheme, which is it's disappointing is what it is, because I think you can find just so much in this life, and I've thought about doing like a Sunday sermon, not for money. I don't want to preach for money. Please understand this. I don't want to preach the good word for money. I have no desire to do that at all. But I would love to get into just motivational speaking. This is the other thing I see in a lot of motivational speaking. Kind of the same deal. You go to a motivational speech to get inspiration, to learn, to better yourself, and then you go to these things, and the whole time it's just a sales pitch to buy another program. That's all it is. It's like, okay, here, pursue your dreams, write a goal. Hey, do you want to know how to write the perfect goals? Well, buy this kit. So you pay to go to the seminar, and then you get to the seminar, and it's just an upsell to get you to buy more seminars and buy more stuff. And there's always putting that carrot out in front of you. Oh, buy this thing, and this is going to solve your problems. If you have this program, you have this, and then you get the program, and it's just the same thing that they already told you, but with one super secret. They're gonna see, and it's annoying. It's annoying. It's like, does anybody just can I don't know. I would love to give seminars, but my problem is so here's the deal. You want to go out and you want to do this, and you want to share this message with people, but you have to find a way to sustain it, to be able to pay for it. So it's this double-edged sword, because it's like, well, you got to make money so you can keep doing it, but you don't want to make it about the money. You don't want, you know what I mean? I don't. And this is the dilemma of my life. This is my life. This is the thing that has derailed me from pursuing my dreams, is that I want to help people. I want to share great messages from philosophy, from history, from science, from religion, from just all these wonderful messages that I feel like the world needs to hear. But it seems like the only way to do it is by building it within this financial structure, that it has to make money. And so it's this weird. So here's the deal. Say, okay, I want to share with people a wonderful message, but in order to share that message, I need money to share the message. And the message I want to share with people is that just pursuing money isn't going to bring you happiness. So you see my dilemma. You see, this is where I'm at. Okay, so it feels weird. But it's the reality is that you need money to function. You really do. You need the money to function. And but I feel weird telling people, hey, you should buy this, and I'm not gonna fix all your problems. I'm gonna entertain you and hopefully send you away with a good message and you feel better about your life. That's all I'm gonna accomplish. I'm not gonna and that my message is that you're not lacking anything. You have everything you need. You are everything that you need. You can develop some skills. You can, there's things you can still do with your life to improve your life. But ultimately, you already are an amazing individual. You just have to finally believe in yourself. You just have to say, look, I'm just as smart as anybody else. I'm just as deserving as anybody else. I don't have to wait for something magical to happen for me to find happiness and joy. I can be happy wherever I'm at. I can find joy wherever I'm at. All of these things are available to you. And that's what I want to share. That's a message I want to share with the world and do it in a fun, interesting way. But when I approach, look into doing the seminars, and everywhere I've looked into, how do you get into becoming a professional speaker, man, they want you to spend thousands of dollars. And all I want is, look, I just need the name of somebody that's going to, connect me with the right people or whatever. And they want you to pay thousands of dollars and go through these seminars where they just tell you the same thing over and over again. Be interesting and have something of value to share with the world. Blah, 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 blah. And I just don't want to charge people for information they already have. I guess what I'm selling is inspiration. I'm selling the inspiration. So I guess I could break it down that way. But so part of what I've decided to do, and this is why I'm going live right now, is that I'm committing myself and committing to you. I'm going to go live every day at 9 a.m. East Coast time, and talk about life, talk about what's going on in the world, and to give you a positive vision, because there's things that motivate you. There's levels of motivation. You can be forced to do things. Like if you're in a concentration camp, you're in prison, you can be forced to do things. Then the next step up is fear. And that's the most common thing that's used against us is fear. Is that as long as you're fearful of losing something, losing your life or losing your way of life, or fear is the biggest motivator that's used to control and manipulate people. The government uses it. Narcissistic people that you come into your life, they'll use it against you. Fear. This is how a lot of products are sold to you, is that fear of losing something, or you got to protect yourself against something. So there's fear, right? So you have force, you got fear, and then you have reward. You do things because you want to get something. You go to school to get a good job, to make money, so you can buy a bunch of stuff that will sit in your garage and decay. But reward. You get rewards, and that's a strong motivation. Not as strong as fear. If they can keep you with fear, then you do the fear of losing out. That's one thing. A fear of loss. Oh, I've just shared something incredible. This magic message that you could have now, but you have to buy it now, or you're going to miss out. Oh no. Okay, so anyway, so then there's reward. So we do things because we get rewarded. And as they say, the things that get rewarded are the things that get done. So you have the reward. And then there's the higher motivations. That is a sense of duty. When you do things out of a sense that it's just the right thing to do. You see somebody, you're out walking, and you see somebody fall down and right in front of you, and you help them up, and their stuff falls over, and you help them pick up this stuff. You do it as a sense of duty. You don't personally know the person, but out of a sense of duty or just general respect, you'll do the right thing. You do a nice thing. You do things out of duty. Um, you follow the laws. You follow the rules out of a sense of duty. Not you're just being respectful of other people and respectful of the system, right? And then you have the highest motivation, which of course is love. That we do things out of love. You do things not because you expect to get a reward or anything back for doing that thing. You just do it because it's the right thing to do for the person that you care for. So duty and love can be very close to each other, but love is you do things out of love. And I have found that doing things out of love bring me more joy than anything else. When I just do things because I love the person I'm doing it for, or I'm doing it out of love for what I'm doing. Like stand-up comedy. I love doing stand-up comedy because it's the activity itself is just pure joy, but also bringing happiness and laughter to somebody else it's my way of spreading love, shall we say. So, out of love. And I've always tried to do things more out of love rather than reward. So you see, so that's where I'm at right now. And it's always tripped me up because I thought I wanted to be rich when I was younger. And I was always trying to come up with some new business ideas. And I was always trying to come up with, I was chasing, the Tony Robbins stuff, the motivational stuff. And I was like, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be, and finally one day I realized that I wasn't, because I wasn't finding any success in anything I was doing at the time. And I realized that I just didn't have a lot of motivation to do a lot of this stuff. And I finally had this realization that money doesn't motivate me. Just doing things for money. Because if that's your only pursuit is money, then there's a lot of things that you could do. There's a lot of things you can achieve if you're only motivated by money. And you can be very successful and be very happy, I guess, to some degree, because you have lots of money. But never motivated me. When I finally realized that I wasn't motivated by money, it changed my perspective of everything. And so then I just started pursuing to do things out of love. I just love doing it. I love performing. I love entertaining. And then I found a lot more success in my life because of that. And that's the message I want to share with the world. Let's see, let me see if I can. I have to change glasses depending on what it is I'm trying to look at. So I'm reading some of your comments. I wish I could respond to all your comments. So I'll go through and respond to a lot of this stuff later. So just so you know. So if you have questions or anything you'd like to share with me for tomorrow, I'll be back on here tomorrow with a new message. And I'll be answering your questions. So that's how I'll do this every day. So if you have questions for me to talk about tomorrow, post them here or send me a DM directly. And so I'll be going through all this, and this will help me prepare for the next day, what I have to share tomorrow. All right. So that's what's going on. So let's see what's coming up. I don't have anything really planned for the month of March. I haven't got a lot going on this month. So I'm sitting in Connecticut with not a lot to do. And so this is what I'm going to do is do this. go live, share a wonderful message every day. Because I think I think the world needs more encouragement and needs more positive encouragement, and not to the point of being toxic. I, I don't know if you heard this term toxic positivity. I think it's nonsense. I think it's I've read the stuff that people have said about it that you can be too positive. I think it's just nonsense. I think you could become delusional, but that's not positivity. Um, but anyway, where was I going with this? Anyway, so yes, so I have time here for the month of March, and so this is good. I'm going to be dedicating myself to doing this better, getting my podcast up and running. I'll be recording my first episode of my podcast, so it's sort of be different. So I'm going to be doing lives where we'll talk about life, we'll talk about what's going on, talk about the news. I'll be answering your questions. But I'm also going to be doing a podcast about basically life lessons. And so I'll be recording that today and be dropping that soon. And I think the podcast I'm going to be recording it. I'm going to have an episode once a week. But I'll be doing these lives. I'll be talking more about the news, talking about what's going on in the world, how to stay positive through all of this. How to take care of yourself. How to prepare yourself for what's coming up. And it really is just how to live life, how not to let the world get you down, how to be able to talk about the horrors in this world and not feel like your life is over because of it. That you can be happy through all of this. You can find joy, you can find happiness in everything you do. And yeah, there we go. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you are finding a lot of joy today. I appreciate all of you and everything you do. I'll be going back live probably later tonight, answering some of your questions. And I've got to figure out the best time to go live. I don't know if it's now or if it's later. So I'll be playing around this week with different things. I'm just going to be I'm goofing off this week. That's what I'm doing. I am goofing off this week. I'm going live, doing podcasts. I'm making videos. I have a lot of time on my hands, and so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to goof off. And so I invite you to come and join me goofing off all week long. I'll be just doing nothing of any real consequence. Just goofing off. So you check in whenever I'm live, drop in, and we're just going to be doing some goofy silliness. So let's do it. Okay, so people are asking, I'll just go ahead, rodneynorman.com if you want, rodneynorman.com. If you want to help, you want to participate in what I'm doing, you can get, if you want to buy stuff from me, if you want an excuse to give me money, go to rodneynorman.com. There's a bunch of excuses for you to give me money if you feel so compelled to support my silliness. And that's it. If you want to help me goof off more and not take any of this, shirk my responsibilities, now you can do that. Now you can support me in that pursuit. So if you got nothing else to do with your life, you can just help, just support me in doing whatever it is I'm doing. I'm not even quite sure what I'm doing at all, to be honest with you. We're just shooting from hip, and that's it. That's what we're doing. So we'll talk more about motivation. We'll be having a great time. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you for your love, your kindness and support. And you all go out there and have a. I got the hookups. I took some black seed oil and it keeps trying to come back up. It's good stuff. So anyway, you guys are beautiful human beings. Go check out my videos. I made some new videos today, and I posted them. They're everywhere. You can check me out on all the different places. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitter. I have a Twitter account. I have 2 Twitter accounts actually. Twitter, Instagram. I'm on the TikToks, and you find me everywhere. I'm not hiding. That's one thing I've noticed. The social media has been doing weird stuff. People are like, "Oh, I haven't seen you forever." I'm posting every day, just so you know. If you haven't seen me for months, that's not my. I'm posting crap every day. So anyway. Well, I'm gonna end this now and go prep for later on, and I'll be entering your questions. I'll have answers as I can. Again, you're beautiful human beings. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your love, kindness, and support. And I will see you all another time.